The night is dark and full of theories.
What if Ned Stark refused to confess? What if the most honorable man in Westeros chose truth over mercy, pride over survival? Let us explore the depths of it in this video. Push the threshold, everyone. If this video reaches 5,000 likes, we shall release part 2. The Great Sept of Baelor rises above King's Landing like a monument to the gods, seven-sided and magnificent. Below it, a crowd gathers. Thousands of small folk press together to witness something they have been promised. Justice, mercy, the confession of a traitor. Ned Stark stands on the steps in chains. His leg is broken, poorly set, throbbing with constant pain. His face is gaunt from weeks in the black cells, but his gray eyes are clear, sharp, unbroken. Beside him, Sansa Stark watches with desperate hope. Her father will confess, will bend the knee, will live. Joffrey promised her father would be sent to the wall. She believes this because she must believe it, because the alternative is unthinkable. The High Septon stands before Ned with a scroll. The confession has been written already. All Ned must do is speak the words. Lord Eddard Stark, you stand accused of treason against King Joffrey Baratheon. First of his name, do you deny these charges? Ned looks at the crowd. Thousands of faces watching him, waiting for him to break, to bend, to speak the lies they need to hear. He sees Sansa's face, pleading silently, begging him to save himself. To save her, he thinks of his promises to her, to keep her safe, to bring her home. He thinks of Robert on his deathbed, the letter naming Joffrey's true parentage, the truth that cost him everything. He thinks of honor. Ned Stark takes a breath, makes his choice. I deny them. The words fall like stones into water. Ripples of shock spread through the crowd. Sansa's face goes white. No. No, father. What are you doing? The High Septon looks confused. My lord, you must confess your crimes. Mercy has been promised. The king, I deny them. Ned's voice is stronger now. I am no traitor. I served King Robert faithfully for 17 years. When he died, I honored his final wishes. I did my duty as Hand of the King. Joffrey stands on the platform beside the executioner, his young face twisted with rage. He denies it. The little king's voice is shrill. He calls me a bastard and denies it. Cersei stands beside her son, her mind racing. This was not the plan. Ned was supposed to confess, was supposed to give them legitimacy. This changes everything. Your Grace, perhaps we should speak privately. No. Joffrey's voice cuts through the square. He calls me bastard? Then let him say it before everyone. The High Septon looks uncertain. Lord Stark, King Joffrey offers mercy. Confess your treason and you will be sent to the wall. You will live. Your daughter will be safe. Ned looks at Sansa again, sees the tears streaming down her face, sees the terror, but he also sees something else. His daughter watching to see what kind of man her father is, whether he will speak truth or convenient lies. I will not confess to crimes I did not commit. Ned's voice carries across the square. I served King Robert. I honored his final command. I told the truth about Joffrey's birth. The crowd gasps. Some people knew the rumors, but hearing it spoken aloud by Eddard Stark himself is different. Joffrey is not Robert Baratheon's son. He has no claim to the Iron Throne. Silence falls like snow. Everyone stares at Ned Stark, this northern fool who just signed his own death warrant. Cersei sees her carefully constructed legitimacy crumbling. If Ned dies as a martyr speaking truth, people will believe him, will question Joffrey's right to rule. She must make Ned a traitor, a liar, a man whose words cannot be trusted. Seize him. Cersei's voice is cold. Take him back to the Black Cells. We will get a confession from him. One way or another. The gold cloaks move forward. Ned is dragged away from the steps. Sansa screams. Father, Father, please. But Ned does not look back. Cannot look back. Because if he sees his daughter's face, he might break, might confess to save her. And he cannot do that. Not anymore. In the Black Cells, Varys visits Ned that night. The spider glides through darkness like he was born to it. Lord Stark, you have made a grave mistake. Have I? You were offered mercy, life, safety for your daughter, and you threw it away for pride. not pride, truth. Varys sits on the stone floor, his voice soft. Truth is a luxury the dead cannot afford. Your daughter needs you alive, not honorable. My daughter needs to know that her father stood for something. That honor matters. Honor is the story we tell ourselves to feel better about our choices. It does not put food on tables. It does not protect little girls from monsters like Joffrey. Ned is silent for a long moment. Why are you here, Lord Varys? To give you one more chance. Confess tomorrow. Take the black. Your daughter lives. Your family lives. The realm has peace. And Joffrey sits on a throne built on lies. All thrones are built on lies, Lord Stark. The only question is which lies we choose to live with. Varys leaves. Ned sits in darkness, his broken leg throbbing, and wonders if he has made the right choice. Above, in the Red Keep, Cersei holds counsel with her advisors. Tyrion is there, newly arrived in King's Landing. Littlefinger lounges against the wall. Pycelle wrings his hands nervously. Ned Stark refuses to confess. That makes him dangerous. Then we force a confession, Pycelle suggests. There are ways, torture. Tyrion's voice is skeptical. That will make him a martyr. The North will never accept it. The North will do what they are told, Cersei snaps. Will they? Littlefinger's voice is smooth. The North has never been easy to control, and Ned Stark refusing to confess makes him a symbol. The honorable man who would not bend. That is dangerous. Then what do you suggest? We give the North something else to think about. We attack Winterfell, threaten his sons, force him to choose between his honor and his family. Tyrion shakes his head. That will only make things worse. The North will rise in rebellion. They already have. Robb Stark has called the banners, but they have not crossed the neck yet. If we act quickly, if we show mercy, we might prevent war. Cersei looks at her brother with contempt. You would show mercy to a man who calls your nephew a bastard? I would show pragmatism. Ned Stark alive and at the wall is useful. Ned Stark dead is a rallying cry. But Joffrey has other ideas. The boy king summons Sir Ilan Payne to his chambers. You are my justice. When I command it, you will execute Ned Stark. Your Grace, your mother said, I am king, not my mother. What I say happens. Sir Ilan nods silently. He is the king's justice. He obeys. The next day, Ned is dragged before the Sept again. The crowd has grown larger. Word has spread that the Northern Lord refused to confess. People want to see what happens next. Sansa is there again, her face pale and terrified. Beside her, Joffrey smirks. Lord Eddard Stark, you have one more chance to confess your treason. Ned looks at his daughter, sees her mouthing words. Please, father, please. He thinks of all the times he promised to protect her, all the times he swore to keep her safe. But he also thinks of Jon Snow, his bastard son, who he raised with honor even when it cost him his marriage, who he protected with lies for 16 years. Ned understands now that sometimes lies are necessary, but not these lies, not lies that legitimize a cruel boy's claim to power. I have nothing to confess. I spoke truth. Joffrey is not Robert's son. He is the product of incest between Cersei Lannister and her brother Jaime. The crowd erupts. Some people gasp. Others laugh nervously. This is madness. Speaking such things before the king himself. Joffrey's face turns purple with rage. You dare? You dare speak such lies? They are not lies. You know it. Your mother knows it. Half the court knows it. Cersei stands, her voice cutting through the noise. Enough. Lord Stark, you condemn yourself with every word. You are guilty of treason. The sentence is death. Sansa screams. Guards hold her back as she tries to run to her father. No, no, please. I will do anything. Please do not kill him. Joffrey looks at Sansa with something like interest. Anything? Sansa nods desperately. Anything. I will be a good wife. I will give you sons. I will never speak against you. Just let my father live. Joffrey considers this. He likes the idea of Sansa begging, likes her desperation. Very well. For you, my love, I will be merciful. Your father will take the black. He will go to the wall and never return. Cersei tries to intervene. Your Grace, perhaps we should discuss. I am the king. Ned Stark will take the black. Relief washes over Sansa's face. He will live. Her father will live, but Ned knows better. He sees Joffrey's face, sees the cruelty there, sees the lie forming even as the boy speaks. "Lord Stark, do you accept the king's mercy? Will you take the black?" Ned looks at Sansa one last time, tries to memorize her face. "I accept." The words taste like ash. He has bent, has chosen life over honor for his daughter's sake. The crowd cheers. Justice and mercy combine. The Northern Lord will live but lose everything. Ned is led down the steps toward a wagon that will take him to the wall. His leg drags behind him, broken and useless. Sansa weeps with relief. But Joffrey is not finished. The boy king stands at the top of the steps, looking down at the crowd, at Ned Stark walking away, at his own power to give life or take it. He thinks of his grandfather, Tywin. What would Tywin do in this moment? He thinks of his mother's words. Show strength, never show weakness. He makes his decision. Bring him back. The words are quiet at first, then louder. Bring him back. I am king. Bring him back. The Goldcloaks hesitate. They were ordered to take Ned to the wagon. Now the king countermands his own order. Cersei runs to Joffrey's side. What are you doing? What you taught me. Showing strength. Joffrey turns to Sir Ilan Payne. I have changed my mind. Ned Stark is a traitor. Traitors do not take the black. They lose their heads. Your Grace, you gave your word. I am king. My word is law. And I say Ned Stark dies. Cersei tries to stop him. Tyrion shouts from the crowd, but it is too late. Sir Ilan Payne, do your duty. The headsman draws his sword. Ice. Ned Stark's own sword. Taken from him when he was arrested. Now it will kill him. Ned is forced to his knees. He looks up one last time. Sees Sansa screaming. Sees the horror on her face. He thinks of Catelyn, of his sons, of Jon at the wall, of all the things he will never say to them. He thinks of Robert, of promises made and broken. He closes his eyes. The sword falls. Eddard Stark, Warden of the North, Hand of the King, dies on the steps of the Great Sept of Baelor. But his death is not an ending. It is a beginning. Sansa's scream echoes across King's Landing. She collapses, held up only by Septim Ordain. Her world has ended. Her father is dead. The king lied. Everything is broken. In the crowd, Arya Stark watches from a distance. Yoren, a Night's Watch recruiter, grabs her before she can run to her father, covers her eyes before she can see the blade fall, but she hears it. The sound of steel through flesh. The sound of her father dying. Arya disappears into the crowd, headed north with Yoren and his recruits. Another Stark fleeing King's Landing. At River Run, Catelyn Stark receives the news. Her husband is dead, murdered by a boy king who broke his word. She collapses in Edmure's arms, her grief a physical thing that tears through her chest. Ned. Oh gods, Ned. Robb receives the news at his camp near the Twins. He is 16 years old, commanding an army. And now his father is dead. His grief transforms into rage in moments. The Lannisters murdered my father. They will pay for this. Every single one of them will pay. The Great Jon stands beside him. What are your orders, my king? Robb looks at his bannermen, at the thousands of northern soldiers camped around him. We march south. We take King's Landing. We make them pay. But the Blackfish speaks with caution. The Lannisters have more men, more gold, more allies. We must be smart about this. Smart? My father is dead. There is no smart. There is only revenge. Catelyn arrives at the camp days later. She has ridden hard from River Run, desperate to see her son. Robb, mother, they embrace, both breaking down in tears. What do we do? Robb asks through his grief. How do we avenge him? Catelyn wipes her tears, her voice becoming steel. We win. We win this war. We show the realm that killing a Stark has consequences. But how? We are outnumbered. Then we find allies. We make alliances. We do whatever it takes. And she thinks of her daughters. Sansa still in King's Landing. Arya missing. Both of them at the mercy of the Lannisters. We must be careful. We still have hostages in the south. Robb's face hardens. Then we take hostages of our own. At King's Landing, Tyrion arrives to find the city in chaos. His sister's stupidity has started a war that will consume everyone. You let Joffrey execute Ned Stark. I did not let him do anything. He is king, he decided. He is a child. You should have stopped him. Cersei's face is cold. Ned Stark was a traitor. He got what he deserved. He was a symbol. And now the North will never bend the knee. You have created a martyr. The North will bend or break. Either way, they will learn their place. Tyrion sees that his sister understands nothing. She has just created an enemy that will never stop fighting. He visits Sansa in her chambers. The girl sits by the window staring at nothing. She has not eaten in days, has barely spoken. Lady Sansa. She does not respond. I am sorry for what happened to your father. Finally, she looks at him. Her eyes are dead. Are you? You are a Lannister. You probably celebrated. I did not celebrate. I argued against it. But you did not stop it. I did not. I am sorry for that. Sansa turns back to the window. Get out. Tyrion leaves, feeling the weight of his family's crimes. In the north, beyond the wall, the Night's Watch receives news of Ned Stark's execution. Jon Snow collapses when Maester Aemon tells him, My father. They killed my father. Jon's brothers in black gather around him. Sam, Pip, Gren. They offer what comfort they can, but Jon is consumed by rage and grief. He tries to desert, to ride south and kill every Lannister he can find. His brothers stop him, drag him back to Castle Black. You swore an oath, Sam says desperately. The Night's Watch takes no part in the wars of the realm. My father is dead. My family needs me. Your family is here now. Your brothers. Jon wants to argue, wants to fight, but he knows Sam is right. He swore an oath. He cannot break it no matter what. But the pain is unbearable. That night, Jon dreams. He is Ghost, his direwolf, running through snow. He sees a figure in the distance. His father, Ned Stark, turns to him. You must stay true, Jon. The Watch needs you. The realm needs you. Do not abandon your oath for revenge. Jon wakes with tears on his face. At Harrenhal, Tywin Lannister plans his war. Ned Stark's execution has rallied the North. 20,000 men march south under Robb Stark's banner. But Tywin is not worried. He has numbers. He has gold. He has allies. What he does not have is dragons. And that makes all the difference. Across the narrow sea, Daenerys Targaryen hears news of Westeros. The usurper's hand is dead. The Seven Kingdoms tear themselves apart in civil war. This is the moment, Viserys insists. We must strike now while they are weak, but Daenerys is wiser than her brother. We have no army, no ships, 3 dragon eggs that will never hatch. We strike when we are ready, not before. But she watches the news from Westeros with interest. Perhaps the realm that killed her family is not as strong as it seems. At the Twins, Robb negotiates with Walder Frey for passage. The price is steep. Marriage, an alliance. Your son will marry one of mine. Or your uncle. A Frey joins the Starks and Tullys. Robb agrees. He needs this bridge. Needs to cross into the Riverlands. But he thinks of his father. Of how Ned Stark always kept his word. How honor cost him everything. Robb swears he will not make the same mistakes. The Northern Army crosses the Twins. 20,000 soldiers marching south to war. To vengeance. Robb splits his forces, sends the Greatjon with 20,000 to engage Tywin directly. Takes 2,000 picked men on a forced march to free Riverrun. The strategy is bold, risky, the kind of move that makes or breaks young commanders. At Riverrun, Jaime Lannister's forces besiege the castle. Jaime sits in his tent, confident. The Tullys cannot hold forever. Then scouts bring news. A northern force approaches, 2,000 men led by the young wolf himself. Jaime laughs. 2,000? Against my 20,000? The boy is a fool. But Robb Stark is not a fool. He attacks at night. His soldiers strike like wolves. Deadly. The Lannister camp erupts into chaos. Jaime tries to rally his men, but it is too late. The Northerners are everywhere. Robb himself fights through the press, seeking Jaime Lannister. He finds the Kingslayer near the command tent. They clash. Jaime is older, more experienced, but Robb fights with the rage of grief. His father's face flashes before him with every swing. Jaime wounds Robb, cutting across his arm. But Robb does not slow. He drives Jaime back, disarms him, puts a sword to his throat. Yield. Jaime looks at this boy who just defeated him, sees something of Ned Stark in his gray eyes. I yield. Robb takes Jaime prisoner, The Kingslayer, the most valuable hostage in the realm. The siege of River Run is broken. The Northern Army claims victory. But victory tastes like ash, because Ned Stark is still dead, and no amount of winning will bring him back. At King's Landing, Cersei receives news of Jaime's capture with cold fury. They took my brother. Then we must take theirs, Tyrion suggests. We have Sansa Stark. She is our hostage. A child? You would threaten a child? You already beheaded her father. I think the line has been crossed. Cersei knows he is right. But she needs Sansa, needs her to marry Joffrey, to legitimize his claim through the north. We cannot harm her. She is betrothed to the king. Then we use her another way. We make her write letters, tell her family to surrender or she suffers. Sansa is brought before the council. She looks like a ghost. Her face is pale, her eyes hollow. Cersei speaks with false kindness. Lady Sansa, you must write to your brother. Tell him to surrender, to bend the knee. If he does, you will be safe. Sansa looks at Cersei with dead eyes. My brother will never surrender. My father taught him that some things are worth dying for. Your father is dead because of his stubbornness. Do you want to join him? If that is the god's will. Cersei is taken aback. The girl has changed. Grief has made her hard. You will write the letters, or you will be punished. Do what you will. I will not betray my family. Joffrey stands, his face flushed. You dare defy me? I am your king. You are a bastard. My father said so. Everyone knows it. The room goes silent. Sansa has just signed her death warrant. Joffrey's hand goes to his sword. But Tyrion intervenes. Your Grace, perhaps the Lady Sansa is overwrought with grief. She does not mean what she says. She called me bastard. She is a child who just watched her father die. Have mercy. Joffrey wants to refuse. Wants to hurt Sansa the way she hurt him. But Tyrion's words have an effect. Very well, she will be confined to her chambers. No food for 3 days. Perhaps hunger will teach her respect. Sansa is dragged away. She does not fight, does not cry. She is beyond that now. In her chambers, she sits by the window and thinks of her father, of his honor, his strength. She understands now what he was trying to teach her. Some things are worth more than life, truth, honor, family. She will not betray those things. Not for Joffrey, not for anyone. At the Twins, Robb holds council with his bannermen. Jaime Lannister is their prisoner. The greatest prize of the war. What do we do with him? The Great John asks. We use him to get my sisters back. The Lannisters will never trade, Catelyn warns. They do not negotiate with rebels. Then we make them negotiate. We have the Kingslayer. That is leverage. But the Blackfish speaks with caution. Be careful, Robb. Prisoners are only valuable while they live. The Lannisters will try to kill Jaime rather than let us use him. Then we guard him carefully. Robb sends a message to King's Landing. A simple offer. Jaime Lannister for Sansa and Arya Stark. A fair trade. Cersei receives the message with rage. They want to trade my brother for 2 girls? One of whom is betrothed to the king? Tyrion points out. It is not an unreasonable offer. It is unacceptable. We do not negotiate with traitors. Then Jaime dies in captivity. Is that preferable? Cersei struggles with this. She loves her brother, needs him. But accepting the trade would legitimize Robb's rebellion. We offer different terms. We return Sansa. But Jaime is worth more than 2 girls. The Starks must also withdraw from the Riverlands. Must bend the knee. Robb receives these terms with bitter laughter. They want us to surrender for the return of one sister? When they still hold the other? They do not know where Arya is. Catelyn says quietly. No one does. Then we demand her return anyway. Make them admit they lost her. The negotiations stall. Neither side will bend. Meanwhile, at Harrenhal, Tywin Lannister gathers his forces, 20,000 men, the most powerful army in the realm. He plans to crush the Northern Rebellion in one decisive battle, to show the realm what happens to those who defy the Lannisters. But Robb Stark is not where Tywin expects. The young wolf moves like his namesake. Fast, unpredictable. Robb attacks Lannister forces at Oxcrossing, a night raid that slaughters 3,000 men. Then he vanishes into the countryside before Tywin can respond. He attacks again at the Golden Tooth. Another victory. Another 1,000 Lannisters dead. Tywin realizes he is fighting a different kind of war. not set battles. Guerrilla warfare. The North is bleeding his army slowly. We need to draw them into open battle, where our numbers matter. But Kevan Lannister is skeptical. The young wolf is too clever for that. He fights on his terms, not ours. Then we change the game. We threaten something he cannot ignore. What? Winterfell? At King's Landing, Tyrion becomes Hand of the King in his father's absence. He finds the city in chaos. The treasury is empty. The people are starving. The war is bankrupting them. He tries to manage the crisis, tries to prevent Joffrey from making things worse. But Joffrey is beyond control. The boy king grows more cruel by the day. He has Sansa beaten when she does not bow low enough. He has singers executed for singing sad songs. Tyrion confronts his nephew. You are making enemies of everyone. This must stop. I am king. I do as I please. You are a boy playing at being king. And you will get us all killed. Joffrey's face flushes with rage. You dare speak to me that way? Someone must. Your mother spoils you. Your grandfather is too busy fighting your war. I am the only one who will tell you the truth. And what truth is that? That you are losing. The North will never surrender. The realm is bleeding. And you are the cause of it. Joffrey tries to have Tyrion arrested, but the King's Guard refuses. Even they see that Tyrion is right. Later, Tyrion speaks with Varys in private. The boy will destroy us all. Yes, he will. Varys agrees. Can he be removed? Varys looks at Tyrion with interest. That is a dangerous thought, Lord Hand. These are dangerous times. But nothing comes of it. Not yet. In the north, at Winterfell, Bran Stark rules in his brother's absence. He is only 10 years old, crippled from his fall, but he has good advisors. Maester Luwin, Ser Roderick Cassel, Osha the wildling woman. They receive troubling news. Theon Greyjoy has returned from the Iron Islands with ships and men. Theon is Robb's friend. Bran is relieved. But Osha is suspicious. Something is wrong. I can feel it. She is right. Theon arrives at Winterfell with 500 Ironborn. He demands entry as Robb's representative. Once inside, he reveals his true purpose. I take Winterfell in the name of the Iron Islands. Bran Stark, you are my prisoner. The betrayal is complete. Theon Greyjoy, raised at Winterfell, has conquered his own home. Ser Roderick tries to fight, tries to resist, but Theon has too many men. The old knight is overwhelmed. Theon orders Ser Roderick executed. The old man dies bravely, cursing Theon with his last breath. Bran and Rickon are locked in a tower. Osha pretends to serve Theon but plots escape. News of Winterfell's fall reaches Robb at his camp. His home is taken. His brothers are prisoners. His grief becomes rage. He wants to march north immediately to save his brothers. But his bannermen argue against it. If you march north, Tywin will take the Riverlands. We will lose everything. Then what do you suggest? We send a small force. Retake Winterfell quietly. You stay here and continue the war. Who do we send? Roose Bolton volunteers. His castle is nearby. His men are fresh. Robb does not trust Bolton, but he has no choice. Go, bring my brothers home, and bring me Theon Greyjoy in chains. Bolton rides north with 3,000 men, but his mind is already plotting. At Winterfell, Osha helps Bran and Rickon escape through the crypts. They flee into the Wolfswood, pursued by Ironborn. Theon hunts them desperately. If they escape, his conquest means nothing. But Bran and Rickon are helped by Hodor and the Reed children Mira and Jojen, who have come to Winterfell seeking the three-eyed raven. They hide in the crypts while Theon searches. Eventually, Theon gives up, burns Winterfell in rage, kills 2 farm boys and claims they are the Stark children. When Roose Bolton arrives, he finds Winterfell burned and abandoned. Theon has fled to the coast, trying to reach his ships. Bolton catches him easily, brings him back in chains. But Bolton also sends word to the Lannisters, a secret message, offering betrayal. Because Roose Bolton sees which way the wind blows. The North is losing, Tywin Lannister is winning, and Bolton wants to be on the winning side. At the Twins, Robb receives news. Winterfell is retaken, but burned. His brothers are missing, presumed dead. His grief is overwhelming. His father, his home, his brothers, everything is being taken from him. Catelyn tries to comfort him, but she is consumed by her own grief. They are gone, All of them are gone. Robb sits in his tent surrounded by maps and plans and realizes he is losing this war. Not in battles. He has won every battle. But in the larger struggle, the North is exhausted. His men want to go home. His allies are wavering. He needs something to change the momentum. Needs a victory so complete it will end the war. He decides to attack Casterly Rock itself, the Lannister stronghold. Take Tywin's home. It is bold, perhaps too bold, but Robb is desperate. At King's Landing, Sansa hears rumors. Her brothers are dead. Winterfell is burned. Her family is being destroyed piece by piece. She stops eating, stops speaking, becomes a ghost haunting the Red Keep. Shae, Tyrion's lover, is assigned as her handmaiden. She tries to help the girl. You must eat, my lady. What is the point? The point is survival. You live. You endure. You outlast them. My family is dead. What do I have to live for? Revenge. The word hangs in the air. Sansa looks at Shae with new interest. What do you mean? I mean the Lannisters are not invincible. They can be hurt. They can be made to pay. How? Patience, time, and the right moment. Sansa begins to eat again. Begins to think, to plan. She is Ned Stark's daughter. She will not break. She will endure, and someday she will have her revenge. At the Wall, Jon Snow trains with the Night's Watch. He has accepted that he cannot leave, cannot help his family. But then the Night's Watch decides to march beyond the Wall. A great ranging, 300 men seeking the wildlings and the others. Jon rides with them, sees things beyond the Wall that defy belief. The wildlings massing, the dead walking. He is captured by wildlings, meets Ygritte, learns that the real enemy is not the wildlings, it is the White Walkers. The ancient evil waking in the far north, but no one in the south cares. They are too busy fighting their petty wars. At Harrenhal, Tywin receives Bolton's message, an offer to betray the young wolf, to deliver Robb Stark's head. The price is steep. Bolton wants to be named Warden of the North, wants Winterfell and all the Stark lands. Tywin agrees. The Red Wedding is planned, but there is a complication. Robb married a Frey to keep his word. The Freys are bound to him now. Tywin sweetens the deal, offers Walder Frey Riverrun, offers him power and prestige. Walder Frey considers. He has never liked the Starks. Too proud, too honorable. But his granddaughter is married to Robb. In the end, gold and power win over family. Walder agrees to the betrayal. The Red Wedding is set. Robb returns to the twins for Edmure Tully's wedding to Rosalind Frey. He suspects nothing. The war is going well. He has won every battle. The feast begins. Music plays, wine flows. Robb sits at the high table with his mother and his wife. Rosalind Frey looks nervous. She knows what is coming, wants to warn Robb, but she is too afraid of her grandfather. The musicians begin playing The Rains of Castamere. Catelyn's blood runs cold. She knows that song, knows what it means. She grabs Robb's hand. Something is wrong. We need to leave, now. But it is too late. The doors close. Crossbowmen appear in the gallery. Walder Frey stands, his thin voice cutting through the hall. The Lannisters send their regards. The slaughter begins. Crossbow bolts rain down. Stark soldiers are cut down where they stand. Robb is hit multiple times. Catelyn tries to shield him, takes a bolt in the shoulder. The Great Jon fights like a madman. Kills 4 men before being overwhelmed. The Blackfish escapes through a window, swims across the river. But Robb is dying. Multiple bolts in his chest. He falls to his knees. Catelyn grabs Walder Frey's wife, puts a knife to her throat. Let my son go. Let him leave, or your wife dies. Walder Frey laughs. I will find another wife. Rose Bolton steps forward. The traitor revealed. Jaime Lannister sends his regards. He drives a dagger into Robb's heart. The young wolf dies, falls face first onto the table. Catelyn screams, cuts Walder's wife's throat. Then the crossbows fire again. Catelyn Stark dies beside her son. The Red Wedding is complete. News spreads across the realm. Robb Stark is dead. Catelyn is dead. The Northern Rebellion is over. At King's Landing, Joffrey celebrates. Orders singers to compose songs mocking the young wolf. Tyrion is disgusted. This is no victory. This is butchery. Sansa hears the news and collapses. Her brother, her mother, dead. Her entire family is gone. She sits in her chambers and thinks of Shay's words. Revenge. She will have revenge. But how? She is a prisoner, a hostage, powerless. Or is she? She is betrothed to the king. That gives her access, opportunity. If she is patient, if she is clever, she begins to smile. A cold smile that would frighten anyone who saw it. At the wall, Jon Snow receives news of the Red Wedding. His brother, his mother, both dead. He wants to desert again, to ride south and kill every Lannister he can find. But the White Walkers are coming, the real enemy, and the Night's Watch needs every man. He stays, but the pain is unbearable. In the north, the lords who survived the Red Wedding struggle to decide what to do. The Starks are gone. Winterfell is burned. The rebellion is over. Some bend the knee to the Iron Throne. Others flee to the mountains and forests, become rebels and outlaws. But one group refuses to surrender. The Brotherhood Without Banners, led by Beric Dondarrion and later by Lady Stoneheart. Catelyn Stark is resurrected by Thoros of Myr, brought back from death 3 days after the Red Wedding. But she is changed, broken, consumed by vengeance. Lady Stoneheart hunts Freys, hunts Lannisters, kills anyone associated with the Red Wedding. She is a ghost of vengeance haunting the Riverlands. At King's Landing, Tyrion plans Joffrey's wedding to Margaery Tyrell. The realm needs stability, needs alliances. But someone else plans too. Plans to rid the realm of the boy king. At the wedding feast, Joffrey drinks poisoned wine. The Strangler, he chokes and dies in front of everyone. Cersei immediately blames Tyrion, has him arrested for regicide, but Tyrion did not do it. He is innocent. But no one believes him. His trial becomes a spectacle. Witness after witness testifies against him. Shay, his lover, betrays him, calls him a monster. Tyrion demands trial by combat. Oberyn Martell champions him, fights the Mountain. The duel is brutal. Oberyn has the Mountain beaten, but he wants a confession. Wants the Mountain to admit to murdering Elia Martell. The Mountain crushes Oberyn's skull. Tyrion is condemned to die, but Jaime helps him escape. Tyrion flees to the cellars, finds a secret passage. He also finds his father. Tywin sits in his privy, conducting business even in private. Tyrion confronts him. They argue about Tysha, about everything Tywin has done to him. Tyrion shoots Tywin with a crossbow. The hand of the king dies on his privy. A fitting end. Tyrion flees across the narrow sea, joins Daenerys Targaryen, becomes her advisor. And Daenerys is ready. Her dragons are grown. Her army is vast. She sails for Westeros. The realm is weak, torn by war, perfect for conquest. She lands at Dragonstone, raises her banners. The Targaryen dragon flies again. At King's Landing, Cersei is regent for Tommen, the new boy king. But she is paranoid, drinks too much, makes bad decisions. The faith militant rises, demands purity, arrests Cersei herself for her sins. She does the walk of shame, naked through the streets of King's Landing. Her brother Jaime returns from the Riverlands to find his sister broken, his son dead, his father murdered. The Lannisters are falling apart. In the north, Jon Snow becomes Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He tries to prepare for the White Walkers. But his brothers mutiny, stab him, leave him for dead. He is resurrected by Melisandre, comes back changed, harder, colder. He learns his true parentage. He is not Ned Stark's bastard. He is Lyanna Stark's son, Rhaegar Targaryen's son. He is the heir to the Iron Throne. But Jon wants nothing to do with thrones. He only cares about the real war. The war against the dead. He unites the North, reclaims Winterfell from the Boltons, is named king in the North, but he knows it is not enough. The White Walkers are coming, and no one is ready. In King's Landing, Cersei becomes queen, blows up the Sept of Baelor with wildfire, kills all her enemies in one move. She sits on the Iron Throne, queen of the Ashes. But Daenerys is coming, with dragons, with armies, with Jon Snow at her side. The final war is beginning. At Winterfell, Sansa has finally returned home. She has survived everything. The Lannisters, Littlefinger, Ramsay Bolton. She is no longer the naive girl who believed in songs. She is hard, clever, dangerous. She reunites with Jon. With Arya, who has also returned after her own journey, the Starks are together again, broken but undefeated. They prepare for winter, for the dead, for the war to come. Arya has her list, names of everyone who wronged her family. She will kill them all. Sansa has her own plans. She will rebuild the North, make it strong again. Jon has his burden. He must lead the living against the dead. The 3 surviving Stark children stand on the battlements of Winterfell, looking north. Winter is here, the dead are coming. And they are ready, but they think of Ned Stark, of his honor, his sacrifice, his refusal to bend. He died for his principles, but his death rallied the North, united them, made them remember what they were fighting for. Ned Stark refused to confess, chose death over dishonor, and that choice changed everything. Perhaps honor is not weakness. Perhaps truth is worth dying for. Perhaps some things matter more than survival. At the Wall, the army of the dead arrives, 100,000 whites led by the Night King, the greatest threat the realm has ever faced. Jon stands at the battlements, watching them come. Grey Wind's descendants howl in the distance. He thinks of his father, of Robb, of everyone he has lost. He draws Longclaw. The Valyrian steel gleams in the torchlight for the North, for the living, for House Stark. The battle begins, the greatest battle in history. The living against the dead. Daenerys arrives with her dragons, burns the whites by the thousands. But the Night King has a dragon too. Viserion, killed and resurrected. Blue fire against red. The battle is desperate. The living are pushed back. The dead keep coming. Jon faces the Night King directly. Their duel is terrible. Ice against Valyrian steel. Ancient evil against the best warrior in the realm. Jon is wounded, driven to his knees. The Night King raises his sword for the killing blow. Then Arya appears. No one, a faceless assassin. She drives her Valyrian steel dagger into the Night King's chest. The ancient enemy shatters. Every White Walker shatters, every white falls. The living have won, but the cost is terrible. Half the Northern army is dead, Winterfell is in ruins, the realm is exhausted, and there is still Cersei, still the Iron Throne, still one more war to fight. Daenerys marches on King's Landing, with her remaining dragon and her armies. Jon marches with her, though he is troubled, she is becoming like her father, obsessed with the throne, willing to burn anyone who opposes her. At King's Landing, Cersei refuses to surrender. She will burn the city rather than give it up. The battle for King's Landing is brutal. Daenerys burns the city, kills thousands. Even after Cersei's forces surrender, she has become the Mad Queen. Jon sees what she has become, sees the monster wearing his aunt's face. He faces a choice, the same choice his father faced. Honor or survival, truth or convenient lies. Jon chooses honor, chooses truth. Like his father before him, he confronts Daenerys, tells her she has gone too far, that she has become a tyrant. She tries to convince him to join her, to rule beside her, to burn the world together. Jon refuses. I am Ned Stark's son. I do not burn cities. I do not slaughter innocents. Ned Stark died for his honor. Will you do the same? If I must. Jon stabs her, drives a dagger into her heart, kills the woman he loves to save the realm. Drogon, her dragon, melts the Iron Throne in grief and rage, then carries Daenerys' body away, flying east. Jon is arrested, faces execution for regicide. But Grey Worm and the Unsullied demand justice. The North demands mercy. The realm is on the brink of another war. A great council is called. All the lords of Westeros gather to decide the future. They choose Bran Stark as king. Bran the Broken, who has no interest in power, who can see the past and perhaps build a better future. Jon is sent to the Wall, exiled to the Night's Watch, like his father was meant to be. But Jon does not mind. The North is free. His sisters are safe. The realm is at peace. He rides beyond the Wall with the free folk, away from politics and thrones and the game that killed his father. He finds peace in the frozen North, in the Wildlands, in freedom. At Winterfell, Sansa is crowned queen in the North. The North is independent again. She rules wisely and well. Arya sails west, seeking new lands, new adventures, free at last. The Starks have won. Not the way they expected. Not without terrible cost, but they have won. And it all began with Ned Stark refusing to confess, choosing honor over mercy, death over lies. His choice cost him everything, but it also inspired his children, taught them that some things are worth dying for. Truth, honor, family. The Stark words ring true. Winter came, the Starks endured, and the North remembers. Years later, maesters will write of this time, of the great wars and the great heroes. They will write of Daenerys the Mad, of Jon Snow the reluctant king, of Sansa the wise, but they will begin with Ned Stark, the man who refused to lie, who chose death over dishonor. His refusal changed everything, started a chain of events that reshaped the realm. Perhaps that is the point. Perhaps one man's honor can change the world. Or perhaps honor is simply its own reward, the knowledge that you stood for something, that you did not bend when it mattered most. Ned Stark did not confess, did not lie, did not save himself, but he saved his children's souls, taught them what truly matters, and in the end, that was enough. At the wall, Jon Snow stands on the battlements looking north. The cold wind blows, snow falls. He thinks of his father, of the man who raised him, who taught him honor. He smiles. Thank you, Father, for everything. The wind carries his words away into the frozen north, into forever. That is our theory. What if Ned Stark refused to confess? He would have died. But his death would have rallied the North, would have inspired his children, would have changed the entire course of the war. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is refuse to lie, even when lying would save us, even when the cost is everything. Ned Stark understood that. And his children learned it from him. Honor is not weakness. Truth is not foolishness. Some things are worth more than survival. The North remembers, and we remember Ned Stark, the man who would not bend. If you enjoyed this exploration, leave a like and tell us in the comments. Was Ned right to refuse? Should he have confessed? Or was his death necessary for his children to become who they needed to be? Winter is always coming. The only question is whether we will face it with honor or with lies. Choose honor, always.